$2.5 billion.
VAT and tax.
Well, if someone turned up to the production meeting, we could have discussed the order they were going to be read out in.
Storage fees have gone up. Let's discuss. It will definitely be collateral damage. Hey team, welcome to Upside, where we talk all things e-commerce and marketplaces. What we're doing today is the news. Let's go. Okay team, so we're trying to do something different this week. And what we're going to do is we're going to tell you the latest news in e-commerce that we think are going to be important for you to know about. This way, you'll be up to date as you go around, or you're at a dinner party and you can be like, hey guys, well, here's some e-commerce news that I want to tell you. And well, what we're going to do is we're going to run through that. And the format we're going to follow will hopefully be headline, and then we'll come back and circle back and talk about each one of those in a bit more detail. And Samir's got his laptop, which means something important is going to be said. Over to you, Zamir.
Okay, so there are a raft of tax, VAT, and import changes. So we'll run through the headlines of those ones.
That means it's sexy.
The FTC has settled with Amazon and issued a $2.5 billion fine to them. So we'll take a look at what that means for Amazon. Amazon has released a new profit analytics dashboard for sellers, starting in the US. Royal Mail has announced an increase in postage charges, and that affects both parcels and first class. We've also seen temporary increases from Amazon shipping and from Amazon FBA and storage fees for the Christmas period. Further Amazon news, Amazon's also released a raft of new devices. So we've got Alexa devices, we've got Fire TV streaming, and Kindle Scribe. So we can take a quick look at what's happening there. And actually, interestingly, final point, TikTok Shop is penalizing sellers who are using generic content and redressing it as new content.
All right, team. All right, so let's run through these, because you're going to be at dinner tonight and you're like, fun fact, this is what I discovered. So let's start. If you're like me, when I'm having a meal, I have the bit that I want to talk about or eat the least.
This is a salad.
I have that
we're
first.
talking about the salad and the veg.
It doesn't really matter. Just whatever it is.
You're going to get it out of the way first.
I'm going to get it out of
the
the way.
least sexy part of your plate.
So let's go to VAT. What are the key headlines? And let's go to the key bits, because I think it's important.
Okay, so today in VAT and e-commerce tax news, Canada's voluntary disclosure program has been revised as of the 1st of October. The HMRC have updated guidance in the UK on small VAT errors. Polish audits are now requiring businesses to submit returns within 14 days. The French have removed Regime 42, which allowed non-EU sellers to defer VAT when storing goods in France. This particularly affected distant sellers. And electronic sellers in Germany, France, and Italy, in the UK and the Netherlands must now supply supplier invoices when they're sending in shipments. Sweden's also looking to temporarily cut VAT on food, and there are a raft of other changes. So
I love that, because we did the news for the first time ever, and we started with the most sexy topic, VAT and tax. Okay, fine. So what are the most, because we want everyone to keep listening. So what are the key
if someone
things?
turned up to the production meeting, we could have discussed the order they were going to be read out in.
So all right, let's go through.
No. I actually think there's a lot of detail here, but it'll only apply to certain people. So I think what we should do, we'll create a document of all of the details, and if anyone wants it, we'll
send you more details.
We'll send you more details on it.
Or you can Google. Now let's go to the more fun stuff. Amazon got a fine.
$2.5 billion.
A $2.5 billion fine. So what was the story there? Because
this is just Amazon mis-selling Prime memberships. And so they've been judged to have done this, that effectively they were tricking people into free Prime memberships when they weren't really free after a period of time, and weren't making it clear, and then weren't making it easy for them to cancel before they started paying for it.
That's super interesting, because firstly, there's that whole stat about how many US citizens or not citizens, just residents sign up to Prime. That's a really big thing. And this, I find this interesting, because I'd like to know when, and we'll find out. I'll find out later on. when the case was initially brought, because I don't think this is a Trump thing. This would have been under Biden, because they had a really good FTC head who really went after the legit stuff, and then Biden came in and got rid of it really quick. But I suspect this is probably a hangover from that, and that if that's the case, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways, Amazon's maybe being seen to get away with this because they have been allowed to settle on it. They've paid a $1 billion fine.
Massive.
And they've paid doing $1.5 billion of refunds to customers who've been missold.
I find that so. They sold 1.5 billion with a B worth of Prime memberships.
Yeah.
That is a lot of Prime memberships.
It's a lot of Prime memberships. I think the important point here is we're not talking about people necessarily cancelling or ending this. These are just people being refunded on this.
Yeah.
So I would be quite curious to see
how many kept it anyway.
Yeah, how many kept it anyway.
So the idea is basically like missile, get them in, and then you're here now anyway.
To sell them products, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to be quids in on the
First
back of it. I would imagine. Yeah, it's a lot of money for most of us, but not for Amazon. But I think the big thing to realize is it's $2.5 billion. It sounds like a big number. Probably not that big for Amazon. I think if it's going to hurt them at all, then they'll just pass that pain down to sellers anyway. So hey ho.
Speaking of which, so storage fees have gone up. Let's discuss postage and storage.
Right. So we know. Yeah, I was going to say. So Amazon, we've known this is coming all along. FBA and storage fees are increasing between the middle of October and the middle of January.
Yep. Well, that's fine. That's the Q4 increase. That's totally fine. The interesting one here is the Royal Mail increase.
So Royal Mail is increasing everything from first class stamps all the way through to parcels. And that's a permanent increase. So it's not just for the quarter.
It's not just the quarter.
It's not as big an increase as we're seeing elsewhere.
But it may, I mean, look, to be honest, no one likes to pay a lot, but the Postal Service does a lot of work. I respect these guys.
Fair.
Yeah.
But it is a permanent increase that's coming in. It's also worth pointing out Amazon Shipping have announced an increase, but again, it's a Q4 increase.
Just
only.
a temporary one.
But it's quite significant. It's like 50% on their main fees. So, we're talking about going from 40 cents to 60 cents. So
okay, fine. We're talking in the same space, but still, it's a lot.
And this is in the US again. And what's quite interesting, what I laughed about when I saw this was how much they charge for, because they haven't said no to extra large and bulky and heavy items. They've just slapped massive fees on them. Yeah. So I thought it was quite interesting. They're talking about sort of like for really heavy, bulky items, $450 extra fee during this quarter.
Wow.
But when I went in to see, those items already have a $1,200 fee attached to them.
Anyway.
So they're like, we don't really want to do this, but we'll do it for a really high price.
Fair enough.
So,
which sucks though.
Point. It does suck if you're using it. And it particularly sucks in Q4. A lot of people are going to, I think it's a struggle point, isn't it? We know that Q4 charges. It's like, it suddenly becomes like, especially if you've got big, bulky items.
Yeah.
And it hits margin at a point in time when you're expected to be discounting. While we're on the theme of Amazon, do you want to talk about their new devices at all?
Yeah, why not? Let's see what we're going to be...
I think there's 2 points to this. They're releasing a whole load of new devices. We're seeing the new Alexa devices coming out. We're seeing Fire TV sets and Fire streaming bits in there. Kindle Scribe. I think both me and you are like, we're Apple users on computers and... phones. I don't have an iPad and I don't use a Fire device, but I do like the Fire Stick. I think it's a really good interface from a software perspective. I haven't used a Kindle Scribe. I'd love to know what people's thoughts are on that. We both have rings. There's a new range, upgraded ring,
nice.
Upgraded Blink. But in particular, I think what's going to be interesting here is their voice assistant. So Alexa Plus. This is their push into AI more.
Well, okay, fine. Yeah.
And in particular, linking it with purchasing. So they're giving it more traits that allow people to make purchases through it.
Okay. So more powered voice.
Yeah.
Fine.
But specifically with this shopping angle to it. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. I always find it's strange how that works alongside Rufus as well. So be interesting to see. Moving away from Amazon, we have some news from TikTok, and I think it's TikTok Shop specifically, and it's the fact that they are going to be penalizing sellers who are using content or reusing content. I think that's the key thing. So what they've said is that creators, they're basically going to be prohibiting sellers and creators from mass posting repetitive, non-engaging short videos. And specifically, they've highlighted videos that only show the product without faces of voices, excessive use of generic voiceovers, and cross-posting the same video across multiple accounts.
Fine. So just kind of like trying to cut out the fluff.
I really feel that AI
That's the goal anyway.
Here,
that's
right?
the goal. That's the goal. Yeah. AI is going to be impacted because that's just going to.
No, AI is having an impact. I think this is what they're seeing. I think there's a degree of this that's just content that's generated by AI that they're not liking. I think the reason they're not, and I don't think they're the only platform with this issue, right? Is that there's a lot of people posting quantity over quality.
Yeah.
The same videos, AI generated content.
I kind of think of this as kind of like, so Amazon needs to protect the buying environment. So making sure reviews are all legit, that you're selling with a proper product, you're fulfilling on all that buying environment, because the customer just wants to be able to trust the products coming in. People who are on TikTok or social, what these guys are trying to do is protect the entertainment environment, right? So they're trying to cut out all the crap because no one wants to watch the same thing over and over again. Though surprisingly, Friends is available on every platform and has been stopped decades ago.
I know. Anyway. Yeah. I heard that little dig there on Friends, but
no. Friends is fine. No dig.
But I agree with you. I think there are parallels here. You're right. So Amazon's product of products, and for TikTok and Meta, it's content, right?
Yeah.
So that's their product, and they're removing poor quality product, or they're penalizing.
Disingenuine.
The penalties are temporary traffic suspension or suppression, permanent suspension potentially if you repeat offend on it, and removal of e-commerce access for serious or repeated violations. So they are getting pretty harsh on this.
They're proper ones.
The concern I would have is, what does this mean for... We know this occurs where people test different hooks, different like kind of main points of content, and then calls to action when it comes to social content. So is that going to be seen as repetitive?
All that A/B testing.
Yeah. Also, people using templates.
Yeah.
And genuinely using AI because it's more cost effective to create their content. Smaller creators, content creators. What's going to happen to them? How's that going to be viewed by TikTok? Whenever you hear these things with suspensions, I think we can both appreciate and understand why they're doing it. But we know, especially from Amazon, sometimes they use a one size fits all, and they when they're doing this, they pull out some really good content by mistake.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's false positives.
There will definitely be collateral damage.
So I think be on the watch out for that.
Is this the first large company to fight back against against AI?
I don't even know if they're fighting back. I think the point you made offline is really accurate, which is what people are really after on social media is social content. And no one wants to be advertised to that much, right? You want more social stuff. And so...
But even still on TikTok, you get like actual content that's been fully generated by AI, or like a full voiceover that isn't selling products.
Yes. So, and some of that stuff is like absolute crap.
Yeah. And absolutely. But there's an ounce of creators out there that fully rely on AI. Yeah. And they're gone. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
I don't know if they're getting rid of the AI. I think it's just the repetitive fluff stuff where it's just
I agree with you. AI is just another medium. The problem with it is it's reduced the time and cost to create content, and so you
can just mass produce a whole bunch of random stuff.
Well, it mentions generic voices, though, doesn't it?
It does mention generic voices, which I hear what you're saying, because you're saying that's an AI voice, but I still think that ultimately what they're going to reward is uniqueness, creativity, and high engaging content, which you still can create with AI. It just probably takes a lot more effort. And so there'll be less of it. And what they're trying to do is surface that by getting rid of that fluffy stuff that you talked about.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Wax it all off.
All right. That's our news roundup.
Cool. That's the news and the important bits that we thought were important for you. Thanks, team. We're going to wrap it there and hopefully see you guys in the next one.